Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Kinsman. I'm the head of content at ABM, and I'd like to welcome you to the media sales track. We're going to be finishing up our conference today, talking about partner selling first, and then we're going to shift to a second session, taking a look at how data can really leverage print sales. We've talked a lot about technology throughout this conference, how technology is leveraging data operations, paid content operations, and also how it's leveraging advertising operations, particularly with the marketing automation session that we heard yesterday. We're going to talk this morning about partnerships and how you can use partnerships, how they can be a real force multiplier for your organization, and what you need to know when you're actually working with partners. And I'm happy to introduce James Arnold, Vice President of Operations with AgWeb, to lead us through this discussion. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
Welcome, everyone. You're not on the beach. Thank you. We'll get there. So, kind of like Brent from Randall Riley, you know, when I was asked to talk on partner selling, I was thinking, you know, maybe it'd be a keynote. Not really. No, it was, you know, I have about as much material to talk about when it comes to partner selling as a panelist would. So I'd love to be up here with a panel, but it's just me. So I have about 2/3 experience with what we're talking about here. So rep firms, I got nothing at all. But what we do have is a product that we have for Farm Journal Media, which is the parent company for agweb.com, and it's our ad network. And I just wanted to go over it with you. What it is, how we created it, some of the pitfalls we've had, and how working together in an uncomfortable environment, that uncomfortable excitement that we just heard about, has sort of resulted in something we kind of like, and it's kind of worked. There are a couple of things in our company, in addition to our ad network, that sort of fit this mold as well. And the latest, we launched a mobile app just last week. Called My Farm Radio app. And so we're working with other broadcasters in the farm area, and we're pulling in people that are vicious competitors, and we're all coming together and working together in this single environment. And, you know, we're hopeful that it works as well as our ad network has. But there are a number of ways that you can partner with people that normally it's just not a comfortable thing. So if you haven't already gleaned, I don't feel like I'm exactly an expert on this. We have a good idea. It's made some money. And so I just wanted to talk to you about it. And maybe it can translate to some of the things that you're doing. So, our ad network. And who am I? That's me. I'm an ops sales hybrid. So I hope you weren't too scared that an ops guy was talking about in the sales area. That would be kind of crazy, but sort of a hybrid. And I have an editorial background, so I've been doing digital for about 20 years, and mostly in agriculture, if you can imagine, digital and agriculture for 15 years. Things have changed a little bit. So this is what I want to go over. I want to go over our ad network, sort of how it was developed, the keys to some of the success things that we've noticed and what we've learned. We've learned quite a bit along the way. This is what it looks like today. We launched in 2012 with 4 partners, 56 separate sites, and it's grown substantially in partnership. So we have now 15 partners. Doesn't sound like a lot, but we'll go over how that actually is pretty darn good in our space. And we've optimized down actually from our launch to 45 sites that are a part of our network. So it allows us to have enough inventory in the partnership and in the network, but it also, we're optimized, so we actually have effective sites. Most importantly, maybe for this group, is 40% year-over-year growth that first year, 30% budgeted for this upcoming year. It's something that We feel like as much as we want to pour into it, we can grow it. And it's performed well. As you can see, good trend line. I hadn't even actually done that trend line until I was asked to present, so I'm looking at it. That looks pretty darn good. So, why would we do it? That was the question. What got us to that point? Well, we know CPMs are declining. Their CPMs, but we launched in July 2012. We knew CPMs were declining then. CPMs have been declining since CPMs were first invented in digital. But now they're really declining. I mean, think about it. Programmatic is such a bullet to the head of CPMs for B2B publishers, right? So what we wanted to do was insert ourselves into the media buyer's decision-making process. So there's the auctions, there's programmatic, there's ad exchange, and then there's us. We're the premium offering. Well, we don't want to not be the premium offering. We want to keep that CPM base. We think we're a premium. We think we have a value. Our audience has a value. But we also want all the money. So if we want all the money, we don't want to let the money go somewhere else just because people are buying with a different mentality, whether they're really interested in search, or it's young agency kids who really like cheap stuff. We want to be that answer too. We want all the money. We also think if we're a part of the offering, especially in our vertical in agriculture, it's going to be a better overall experience if they work with us, because we know farming, we know farmers, and we can reach them. Plus, a really nice thing was, at the time, July 2012, there wasn't any real competition specific to our niche. There was other networks, widespread networks that could target. But there wasn't, in our niche, anybody who could do it. So then, why us? I mean, what made it possible for us to do it? First, we had the audience content niche. We know agriculture. Legit, we have 60% market share in digital in agriculture from an audience standpoint and from a campaign purchasing standpoint, direct buying standpoint. So we have a good niche there. We also have a good reputation, so we're very aggressive in sales. I don't know if you were aware of Andy Weber, my CEO, or Mitch Ruda, my direct boss, but very aggressive, very interested in getting all the money, but also doing it in a way that keeps the relationship going. Agriculture is huge built relationships. We have to maintain those relationships because it's a small niche. We like them, they like us. We want that to continue. So we had a good reputation. So when we call people up and we try to recruit partners, we're not surprising them who we are. We're not, and they don't have they don't all have a bad feeling going into that conversation. Now, scale is possible. This is kind of the hard part. We have 60% share, but we don't have 100% share. We're not the only ones doing it. So that became a good thing, a very good thing, that there were other people, other sites, other media companies out in the space trying to do what we do. Without that, there's no need for a network, right? Because we got it all. But because there were really strong other partners out there that we could go after, it made it possible. So scale was possible. Plus, we already have a sales force that was sort of put together in a way that could sell digital media. Well, most of us can sell banner ads. Most of us have a sales force that knows how to sell banner ads. This is just another version of that. It's another sell sheet. It's fairly simple to insert into our current sales process. And we weren't 100% filled. So should the network partners fall off or at some point not be interested or not have inventory, we could backfill to fill our orders. Now, we didn't want to do a lot of that, of course, because I said before, we're a premium buy, but we could should we need to. So then the recruiting, I mean, that's basically the key part of what we're talking about here. We started it off by launching, we had a list of about 25 sites that we wanted to go after, and we talked to all of them, some through conventions like this, some through email, some through phone calls, and we targeted them based on their traffic. So we use things like Hitwise or Quantcast, or we just wanted to see what people out there in our space, if they had the traffic, because really this is an inventory game. We want to get partners who could allow us to sell a lot of cheap stuff. But we also use things like Media Radar or things of that nature to see what are our clients buying, what are the people that we sell to. If they're not buying us, where else are they buying? So, I mean, those two tools and tools like those really help you put together a list of potential partners. In-person meetings, right. And at first, we weren't that comfortable dealing with competitors. And we want to win. We want all the money, and they're taking our money. They've been taking our money since the competition started. So we didn't really want to work with them. We wanted to work with ancillary. So we're an agriculture news, markets, and weather website. So we partnered with used machinery sites. It's pretty comfortable. We could do that. How about agriculture real estate? No problem. We're not really strong there. We don't have a database of real estate. We'll work with them. But we learned. What's the problem with dealing with people, working with partners just like us? It really adds value to the network. And honestly, when it comes down to it, the people that we sell to want to see our site list. And if the site doesn't really look enough like our people, our site, it becomes a different sell. So we had enough of our competitors in there that all of the things that we've done over the years to make our media buyers comfortable buying us, they were then comfortable buying the network, because it wasn't significantly different at least from a content standpoint as what we were doing. More recruiting. Yes. So how do we get them? What's the lure? It was contractual. I mean, we want to set up a contract. We want to make sure that both parties make some money. But we didn't want to make it, we wanted to make it loose, because some of these were really uncomfortable relationship building. We had been fighting tooth and nail with them over the years, and this was the first time where we were saying, we want to work hand in hand with you. And of course that's going to be uncomfortable. So at the launch, at least, we wanted to make sure that they understood that what they would make is generally a flat CPM, that we would pay them when we would pay them. We'd pay them monthly. Sometimes even when it was $17, we'd send them a $17 check. We felt like that was an investment in the partnership. Any stipulations they might have for their inventory or for partners. So since we're selling to the same folks, we wanted them to feel like they could opt out of any campaign that they were uncomfortable putting on their site through the network. And tiered inventory. So they were our partners were allowed to cordon off a certain amount of their inventory, and if we needed more, we'd come and ask for more, but if we didn't need more, they kind of could control their inventory and be comfortable working with us. And it was a partner-friendly contract. I mean, I think the wording was, you have to be with us for a year, et cetera, but we just let them know this is a new relationship. We want you to be happy. We don't want you to feel like you're stuck with us. So if there's any problems throughout the process, let us know, and we're not going to lock you in. So the selling of it. Pricing was, other than working with people we really didn't want to work with, which was a big problem, the biggest problem was pricing. So we have this premium product. We love agweb.com, and we don't want our CPMs to decrease. We're very thrilled with that. And now we're going to go out in the marketplace. Predominantly, this is sold by our sales team. We're going to go out in the marketplace and say, oh, you can have something that looks a little bit like us for half as much, or whatever. Well, that was scary. We could have totally gone out in the marketplace and they said, that's just good enough. We're not going to buy you anymore. I mean, that was the number one thing that stopped us from doing this. We were scared to death that we were going to ruin our business. Wouldn't you be scared of that? Of course. So we did it anyway. We knew we wanted to do it. I think in the last meeting, one of the gentlemen said, somebody's going to do it, so might as well be us. And that was kind of our attitude. So how do we price it? Because we hadn't had an ad network before. We didn't know necessarily how it was going to perform, but we assumed based on the audience that we were going to get from the sites that we had partnered with and from some generalized ad performance metrics that it should be half as much as ours. So we were, at the time, running an average CPM on our site of $30. So at launch, I think the prices on our network were going to be $15 CPMs. So, honestly, it was spitballing. We didn't know, but it seemed right. And we went out of the market with that and started to sell. So that worked. Plus, it's massive reach. Much like most exchange buys, much like most ad network buys, it's large-scale reach. This is not a CPL kind of place to live. This isn't going to be a huge response mechanism. We didn't believe, and it turned out not to be. So it's mostly about branding, which is what most of our clients are doing. So again, we felt comfortable going half on the CPM. Plus, we felt obligated through the selling process to make it just as simple as possible. So easy to buy. So we have a simple process. Easy to deliver. So simple specs. We didn't want to get into high impact units or crazy expansions or any of those sorts of things, because with a plethora of sites, we have 45 sites, I have no idea necessarily whether it should expand left or expand right or expand up, expand down. Didn't want to get into that. It was only going to cause partner pain. So it's just simple specs. And also easy to see the value. We have auto reporting set up. So nobody on our team touches the report. It automatically goes out. The client sees the value at midnight on the last day of the month. And so it's legit, super easy. And as I said, I'm a sales and ops hybrid. So I needed the back end to work great too. And I couldn't take my eyes off all the other things that we were doing. So right now, as it sits today, I devote about 20% of a project manager to it. We have outsourced traffic guy, runs about, I don't know, under $500 a month, just to make sure that when we have new partners, the coding is set up and the waterfall of their backfill is set up appropriately, and all the campaigns are running and they're delivering. And then our accounting is actually just inserted into our regular accounting processes, because most of these network buys were then packaged, so it fit really well. So the one thing about our current network that I didn't mention is it's about 5% of our digital revenue. In 2 years, we now have something that has added 5% onto our digital revenue. That's That's nice. It helps a lot when inventory's tight. In farming, farmers are busy throughout the year, and then they harvest. So the fourth quarter is when everybody wants to advertise on our site. I'm not allowed to say this, but we're sold out. We're totally sold out on our site in November and December. I literally have no inventory. Don't let anybody hear that, because I'm not supposed to say it out loud, but it's true. So our ad network is a great place to push. Did I say we want all the money? Because we want all the money. So we have to find a place for these people. And the ad network, once it's created, is a great landing spot. Right now I have my project manager working with all the sites to expand their inventory because we launched, I think, with 10 million potential monthly impressions. And we're probably going to be triple of that in this month. Just because I have a lack of inventory on our own site, so we have to push this inventory elsewhere. It's a great handshake for new advertisers. People who, in farming, you can imagine there are just thousands of real little guys who maybe don't do digital advertising or they'd really love to, but wow, $30 CPMs when I've been buying search for 60 cents. I can't even fathom that. So you have another offering at 8 to 12, that's fantastic. I'll try you. And then, of course, the agency bottom feeders. We, as you can imagine, we work with a lot of people on the consumer side, especially when it relates to pickup trucks. Farmers are huge into pickup trucks. So we can't necessarily convert the consumer space to what we believe is our true value. So we can blend really well. We can blend our site with our ad network and allow us to get to a CPM base or an eCPM that people are comfortable with. So some of the things that we've learned, key to this was we have to have a few name sites people have heard of, people can see and grasp, they understand that yes, that content is in line with what I want to do. It had to be turnkey for partners. We sell the thing. They don't have to do anything. They have to sign the contract and take the check. And the reason they do it, and we haven't lost any partners since we launched, is we pay better than Google. We just pay better. Not a great deal better, but certainly enough reason to be at the top of that waterfall. The niche differentiation. So we launched in July 2012, and the moment we launched, seemingly, was when a major competitor launched out of the outdoor space that started looking at agriculture and thought, gosh, that's a natural. And our niche differentiation is that we go after our guys, after farmers. We're about the business of farming in our publications. We want our network to be about the business of farming. So our niche differentiation from our major competitor is that we're about farmers, and all our sites are about farming. Theirs is more lifestyle, rural lifestyle, great for some of our clients, not so great for other clients. So we want to maintain a niche differentiation between our direct competitor. And what's another really helpful thing is the programmatic noise. Things that, everybody hears about programmatic, whether you're buying or you're a publisher or whatever. All of that noise just talks about low CPMs and the expectation that CPMs are going to be low and decrease, and I can buy cheap stuff. So if we don't have a cheap stuff offering, we'd be in trouble. But we do, so they come looking for it. What do you got in this range of CPMs? Well, we have something. And like I mentioned, the competition. And they are an aggressive competitor, and they're really good at what they do. So we have to have a differentiator. Some of the other things we've learned, partner communication keeps the relationship strong. So we don't pester them. We send them checks. We pay them on time and pay attention to them. But there are times where things get awry. Like they forget that we will allow them to opt out of campaigns, and their sales team gets scared that we're selling to the same people and we're selling for less and we're undercutting, and we're not going to do that. Just tell us not to run the ads. So you have to have that ongoing communication to make sure that as their sites change, you're delivering the right size ads or some such. We also have a lot of sales training on our end to make sure that they know what an ad network is and what our network stands for and what it should be, how it should be pitched in the industry, and get all the feedback from our client base to what needs to change, what don't they like. Train. Just keep talking to them about what we have. And then pay back your best partners the best way you can. So for the first year, we had an ad network and we were really excited and we just delivered ads to it. And then we realized, well, there were a couple of sites on our list that were flat stealing. The ads there were like 20 ads on this page. This was ad number 19 down the right side. The click rate was at 0.01 or less. That's theft. I mean, that's not partnership. I mean, we don't want necessarily your best stuff for an ad network, but come on. We got to work together. So the people that put the sites, the partners that we were working with, that put us in the best position for a click and had better click rates, got more of the inventory. It took us a year to figure that out. Apologize, but sometimes we're slow. But that's the way you should do. You should definitely incentivize partners for having being better partners. And then we watch where the advertisers are spending. So there are a couple of options out there like Kantar, Media Radar we use to, we know everybody that's advertising on our competitors, everybody that's advertising on us, and we can run reports. I send out notes to our sales team and say, why are they there? They should be on ours. It doesn't make any sense. Are you not doing anything? Is there a training problem? Get after it. I sent it on Saturday even. They were a little mad, but we got to get after it because digital is fast and it moves. And always be optimizing. We just got to make it better, and whatever that takes. Right now, we ran some research and we found out that our network, while most of agriculture happens in the 12 north central states of the United States, our ad network traffic sort of skews a little bit to the west. And so once we know that we have to go after partners that are maybe stronger in the upper Midwest or some such. We have to make changes, always be optimizing, make it better. And as new brands come out, we look at Hitwise reports that say these are the up-and-comers in your competitive set. Sometimes sites get on that list and we say, that's more rural, that's not really us. Don't think a partnership would be strong there for us. But then some are. That fits what we do. They have some traffic. Let's get them in. May not add a lot, but at least we can get them in on the front end. So that's what I set out to talk about. As I said, it's just our story. We're not necessarily experts. But we have a product that we kind of like, and it's added 5% to our digital revenue. So.